Wish today was Friday.
Hello, Top Fan Rivalry family. Welcome back to another live edition. That's right, we're alive here. That's Jackson. I'm Bill. This is what we call the weekly review with Jackson and Bill. So if you're not familiar with this, and well, judging by the attendance, you're not. No, just kidding. To quote Major League Baseball there or Major League. What we do is we go through 3 to 5, depending on how many. Depending on how many topics we do, we go one by one, talk a little bit about what happened in the week of baseball, and then we circle back around. Any of you that are watching this live, feel free to put comments in the comment box. We'll do our best to answer them. We are live on X, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and we will continue to do this show every Thursday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Jackson, after that intro, how the heck are you, mi amigo?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. As you can see from my bottom tagline, I'm feeling a little optimistic today about my team, the Braves. Matt Olson is going to steal 30 bases next year because if Juan Soto can do it, Matt Olson can, I believe.
You mean if Alejandro Kirk can get a stolen base during the regular season, anybody can?
Hey, look, I don't mean to be that guy, but how many stolen bases did Josh Naylor have? Josh Naylor moves that I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Anything's possible.
Before we get into the topics, you're going to see something streaming at the bottom. It says topfanrivalry.com/clubhouse. This is the precursor to what we used to have, which was the locker room. This is free to join. You're going to get articles in there. You're going to get a bunch of fun stuff in there. So even though it's not a hot link, go and put that in your browser and go ahead and sign up for free into the clubhouse. There's going to be so many things in there. Jackson may even write an article or two and put it in there. Who knows? Right? You never know. You never ever know. So anyways, Jackson, show them how it's done. What do you got for number one?
All right. I'll get it out of the way. I'll let you slam dunk it at the end here. But the World Series is over. The Dodgers won in 7 games over the Toronto Blue Jays. But I'm going to talk about situational baseball hitting. Now I'm going to bring up. Look, I'm going to bring up a moment that lost the Blue Jays the World Series, I think. After Vladimir Guerrero's leadoff double in the 11th inning, they chose to sacrifice bunt with nobody out. Mm-hmm. I know Isaiah Kiner-Falefa can't hit. That's why he's a bench player. But you also have to believe in your guys to deliver a base hit to get somebody in from second. Absolutely. It's silly to me. I don't mean to roast American League teams here. You guys don't know how to sacrifice bunt. I'm sorry, but if you're down by 1 run, if you're down by 1 run in the final inning, you don't give the defense a free out. It's like the Cardinal rule that their timer is the outs. You can't hand them something that's going to bring them closer to ending the game. You have to make them earn it. In a tie game, I think that's an absolutely acceptable decision to move the runner to third base. But down by 1 run, you have to swing the bat. Tell me I'm wrong, Bill.
You're not wrong. You are absolutely not wrong. And there's so many things that happen since you and I talked. Remember, when you and I talked, we were coming into, I want to say it was game
6.
Game 6, yeah. So game 5 had already ended. They were going back to Toronto, down 3-2 for the Dodgers, up 3-2 for Toronto. There's a lot of things that happen. And so some of my 1-2-3s aren't going to be just about bunting, but they're going to be about, and you're talking about situational things. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those situational things too and how they played themselves out.
But so my number one is abolish the DH so everyone learns how to bunt again, because that was really Toronto's struggles to score runners in game 6 and 7 aside. That was a fatal managerial error. You cannot give the defense a free out with a runner in scoring position. That is the tying run.
I get it. I like where you're going with that. Let
me tell you, if it's like the 5th inning, maybe, but the 11th, you got to swing the bat. You got to swing it. You got to live it. You're the one who made the defensive replacement. You got to live or die by your bench decision there. So,
yeah, swing it. No, I love it. So my number one is going to be the value of understanding the situation. Okay, and I'm gonna piecemeal these, Jackson, like 1 and 2 based on situational things, right? So number 1 is situational, understand the situation. So game 6, you're down 3-1. Now, mind you, 2 situations happen. Ball gets hit and gets wedged underneath the padding. Justin Dean immediately puts his hands up. Okay. Amazing for him to think to put his hands up, right? He doesn't put his hands up. If he even attempts to reach for that ball, it is a live ball. So he did the right thing. Okay. So that's that portion of it there. And then understanding where the ball is at. Unfortunately, you got too good of a secondary lead, and Kiki Hernandez doubled you up to end the game. So that's my number 1. By the way, for those of you just joining us live, Jackson and I are going to go through the weekly review. We are going to go and mention 3 different things that stood out to each one of us and go back and forth, and we'll do some honorable mentions and some things at the end. So just in case you're not familiar with what the weekly review is. So Jackson, that's my number 1. What did you think of both the play by Justin Dean and the play by Kiki Hernandez to end the game?
I think Kiki Hernandez got handed a free out to end the game, honestly. I know you want to be aggressive with the secondary lead, but Toronto made a lot of mistakes in game 6 and 7, especially on the base paths. Throughout the series, they made a lot of mistakes on the base pass. They made several outs, getting thrown out at third, was getting thrown out at second. 2 separate times in the series, the runner on first off the batter walked and got thrown out stealing, jogging to second base. Right. Honestly, one of those times, it was ball 4, so I can excuse it the first time. But for George Springer in game 7 to have it happen to him again, unexcusable.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absolutely. And it was one of those plays where I actually thought the ball was going to drop, and the way that Kiki played it, where he kind of acted like it was going to drop and then caught it and then went back to second. That was, if you're a Dodger fan, that's awesome. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you're shaking your head going, dude, where were you going? There's a guy at third base. You can't pass him up. Where were you going?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is knowing the situation and knowing that even if you were the lead runner, if the ball drops in that situation, either you're only moving at 90 feet or it's getting by him and you're scoring anyway. So there's no need to be so aggressive. Either it's going to drop in front of him and, you're going to have to run to get to third base, but you can't take that aggressive of a secondary lead, when the ball's hitting the air. You got to freeze.
200%. 200%.
Got to freeze and go back.
There you go. So, Jackson, what do you got? By the way, anybody watching anything live, feel free to put comments in. We'll be able to respond to your comments. If you're not watching this live, you're watching on a replay, get some comments in there, and we'll make sure that we take care of them next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Jackson, what do you got for number 2?
It's got to be Rubber Arm Yamamoto. Pitching on 0 days rest. It was a little ridiculous that that was the Dodgers game plan and it worked. And to me it's kind of ridiculous that Yamamoto probably looked just as he looked slightly less good than the night before. Most guys you pitch on 0 days rest, they're gonna they can give you like 10 pitches maybe.
Yeah,
they might be able to high five you, because their arm hurts so bad. Yamamoto was out there. He pitched multiple innings. He looked really good. He deserved World Series MVP. We talked about that on the last week's episode where we're going, who's going to win World Series MVP for the Dodgers? They win. Well, Yamamoto's like, I'm going to take it because I'm going to win Game 6, and then I'm going to win Game 7 too.
I'm going to take it because exactly. I'm going to take it because, yeah. No, I get it. Yeah, Yamamoto was just so good, Jackson. He was so good. And I was impressed with the fact that he wanted to pitch the 19th inning of Game 3. The fact that he came in Game 7 after pitching 96 pitches beforehand. That's video game stuff, right? You throw in your bench guy in a video game because you look and he's got 40% energy and you just think, oh, I can get him there.
Yeah.
And so that's just video game energy. So I like that.
Yeah. I've only ever seen one pitcher do it in my lifetime, and I was but a wee lad when it happened, and that was Randy Johnson. So, and it's impressive.
Very, very. So my number 2, Jackson, is actually going to go on the Toronto side. I've got to give a lot of love, and I know that he made the last out of the World Series, but Alejandro Kirk called some very, very good games behind the plate and hit almost 400 in the series. That guy was a role player and played a big role in the 2025 World Series. Tell me I'm wrong.
He did, and I think he unfairly gets put in that category where he grounds into a double play. I think there's only been like 2 or 3 World Series that have ever ended in a ground into a double play. So, but again, it goes to I talked about the decisions in management. You get a runner put on first base there. You got to put the runner in motion, and get your catchers up. There's less than 2 outs. You got to give your catcher a chance to not ground into a game-ending double play. Yeah. Especially against a good pitcher that induces a lot of ground balls. I could probably sit here and rant about all the mistakes Toronto made. I'm not going to do that. Toronto was a very good team. They got the Game 7 of the World Series. They did a lot of good things, but there were some decisions in the series that it feels like they probably could have and should have won the series.
Yeah. No, it's Alejandro Kirk was really, really, really good, Jackson. And I don't. Again,
yeah, no fault to Alejandro Kirk. He had like 3 home runs in that series.
Yeah, and I'm a Dodger fan, and I'm saying this guy was really good. I mean, think of the 19 inning or the 18 inning game. I think the Dodgers, the last time they scored was like the 6th inning of that game. He was able to manage to get the pitching staff to pitch 11 straight scoreless innings. That's a ball game plus. Like he's calling a good game back there. Like and for those of you baseball fans that are like just pure on baseball, you'll understand what I mean. For those of you that are casual baseball fans, this might seem weird, but Alejandro Kirk, like you pay your catchers for the games that they call and what they do with the pitching staffs. Anything that you get offensively is a bonus. It is not expected. It is a bonus. I mean, Jackson, am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not. Just look at the stats of Hall of Fame catchers. They're not very good compared to every other position. Maybe except for shortstops. We're kind of sitting in an era where shortstops are very offensively minded, but look back 20, 30 years, not the case. But Kirk called a really good game. I think a lot of people, I think what makes Alejandro Kirk really valuable, even with automatic balls and strikes coming, is framing. Framing is going to be very, very important with automatic balls and strikes with the challenge system, because the ability to make balls look like strikes and them not be challenged is going to help his pitchers out. And I know people don't like framing. Oh, it's cheating. It's deceptive. It's a part of catching. If the ball is close enough to look like a strike, it should probably be a strike.
Exactly. Ball's close enough to look like a strike.
I'm sorry. I'm not here to sit nickel and dime. That pitch was half an inch off the plate. It's like, come on, let's get this game moving. Swing the bats. We're not here to watch people walk.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. 100%. Okay, what you got for number 3, Jackson?
Number 3, I'm going to pivot off the World Series and talk about. There's a lot of players that got qualifying offers today, Thursday. 13 players. Kyle Tucker, Kyle Schwarber, Bo Bichette, Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Ranger Suarez, Edwin Diaz, who opted out of his contract, Zach Gallen, Shota Imanaga, who also opted out of his contract, Michael King, Trent Grisham, which is probably the most surprising one, Gleyber Torres, and Brandon Woodruff. So these are the top free agents, probably the top 13 free agents on the market. A couple surprises for me, but I think the guys to watch are Edwin Diaz, Ranger Suarez, and probably Kyle Schwarber are going to make themselves a lot of money in this free agency. A lot of teams need bullpen help. Edwin Diaz, very good closer. Schwarber was probably, the best hitter not named Shohei Ohtani in the National League last year.
Probably.
And I think a guy like Ranger Suarez slots in perfectly with a lot of teams as a really strong 2 who can go out, and he's got the playoff experience. He's going to make himself a lot of money.
Right.
But But the
Yeah.
qualifying offer just means you lose a draft pick for signing him. I don't think it's an issue for most of these guys.
So I was just going to say, yes, please describe to everybody what a qualifying offer is so that they understand what that looks like.
It's 1 year, and it's like the average top 25 salaries, something like that. I know this year it fluctuates with how much the top players are making, but this year it's like 22 million or something like that. So each team has a chance to, before they hit the free agency, offer them the qualifying offer. The player can take it or leave it. Today was the deadline to offer it, so it was all teams always wait till the last day to offer it. They all offer the qualifying offer. If they leave in free agency, they have to give up a draft pick as compensation to the team. It helps the small market teams out. It also helps big market teams out a lot of the time. I think it's a fair little system there, especially because you develop the talent. You played them at the major league level for 6 years or whatever. You should get a little something.
100%. 100%. So not a lot of so it's interesting to me because there's so much hot stove going on right now, and people don't understand some of the, well, I shouldn't say they don't understand, but a lot of folks don't get what the qualifying offer is. Why did this team not make this, or why did this team make this qualifying offer? That type of thing. So you just described it pretty well, Jackson.
Yeah, I was going to say, for example, do I think Trent Grisham should make $22 million next year? Absolutely not. But the Yankees offered him that, knowing that they're probably not going to give him the multi-year deal he wants. He's probably not going to want a 1-year contract to go back to New York. So whatever team that signs him has to give the Yankees a draft pick. That's why the Yankees handed it out. We've seen it in the past where it's impacted guys like Craig Kimbrell, Dallas Keuchel being the most notable, where they signed late past the deadline and when you have to give a draft pick. That doesn't happen a lot. Most teams that want a guy that can get the qualifying offer think they can get enough value out of them to give up the draft pick.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot.
You can still re-sign the guy too. I want to throw that out there. Just because your team offered somebody a qualifying offer doesn't mean they're giving up.
Yeah. So my number 3 is going to piggyback on your number 3. And that is, I'm looking at a list on MLB.com of the free agents for this hot stove. You got first ballot Hall of Famer Austin Barnes on there. I'm teasing obviously about that, but you've got some good catching talent, especially some talent that can back up your everyday catcher if in fact you're needing that. All like Gary Sanchez. You've got guys like
Victor Caratini.
Yeah. Pete, I can't find a jersey that fits me correctly. Alonso has opted out of his contract, 31 years old. I don't know if this is a power play on his side to get more cash out of the Mets, or if it's just time for him to move on. And when you're opting out consistently out of contracts, sometimes you put yourself in a position where you become less valuable to the organization. The organization just throws up their hands and says, go ahead. You want to bounce? Go ahead, bounce.
The Pete Alonso situation is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the top international free agents, Okamoto and Murakami from Japan, both play first base or predicted to play first base at least. So he's got some competition in there. And, a team like the Mets might be looking to, pay somebody a little bit less to maybe do the same thing.
Well, and you've got guys, and see, and I'm not, how do I say this? I'm not and this is just doctoring my bill here, and nobody at me about this. This is my own personal opinion. That's what's beautiful about Top Fan Rivalry. You can express your own opinion, right? I'm not a huge fan, Jackson, of people signing 2-year deals with an opt-out after 1 year.
Oh, me neither.
And them opting out, a la Cody Bellinger, a la Alex Bregman. These guys, opting out after 1 year and trying to test the market. Okay, well, you better have had an incredible year for that. But
yeah,
I guess maybe tell me I'm wrong and I'll accept it.
I don't think you're wrong. It certainly doesn't make you a fan favorite. I believe fans call those types of players mercenaries, and they're not very fun, even when they're on your team. Honestly, you don't like playing teams that have guys like that. You don't like having a guy like that on your team because it really to them is all about the money, and they're going to jump ship the moment the going gets tough. That's what it feels like, at least. They're not committed.
100%. 100%. And it drives me batty, Jackson. I mean, I get why you do it, right? And some of these guys, I mean, Cody Bellinger's made well over $100 million in his career. I don't understand that. That to me is generational money, right? But these guys get so caught up, and this is not a knock on Cody, throwing shade on Cody or anything like that, but these guys get so caught up in the cash. Hey, I've only got 8 more years. I mean, let's try to see if I can get another 200 million. Okay, well, you already got 100 mil tickets sitting in the bank. Like, maybe figure out where you want to be and be there and put some roots down and all kinds of things. Now, also with Cody, you have a situation where I think he put down roots in LA, thinking he'd always be in LA, and now he's not in LA. The wild card to him, though, is he's played in every big market. He's played for the Cubs, he's played for the Yankees, he's played for the Dodgers. So where are you going to go? You go to Baltimore? Where are you going to go?
That'd be an interesting signing. I kind of like that one.
Are you going to go down to Atlanta?
We don't do a ton of speculation here, but I do like the Cody Bellinger to Baltimore trade. I
Yeah,
kind of like that one.
that was just me spitballing, Jackson. That was just me spitballing.
We're not a speculation podcast, but
we are definitely not that. Jackson, there's some interesting things. I'm going to let you take before I let you take on the honorable mentions. I'm gonna thank a couple of sponsors real quick for letting us do what we need to do, and then after I thank these sponsors, we'll let you get into your honorable mentions, and then obviously we got to close this the way that we always do. But first and foremost, it's the holiday season. If you're looking for holiday gifts and you are an art collector, please hit up the Art Center Gallery. You can find them online. They have a place in Mission Viejo, California Mall, and in Laguna Beach. Check these guys out. They ship to anywhere in the country, actually anywhere in the world. Check them out. Mention Top Fan Rivalry. If you talk to Todd, who's the art gallery owner, mention that you heard it on Jackson and Bill's weekly review for Top Fan Rivalry. He'll love that. We are grateful for Todd and for everything that he has done. And then, of course, you're going to want to get, if you're in Laguna Beach, you're going to want to get some type of shake. And you have to go to Ruby's Diner. Go in, look for Ned. Tell Ned that Jackson from Top Fan Rivalry sent you. He'll get a good kick out of that. Jackson, don't you think he would get a kick out of that?
He will.
Yeah, just tell him. And we'll mention these guys one more time again so you can remember them. But definitely take a look at those. Now, Jackson, what do you got for your honorable mentions? I would be remiss if you don't mention what I think you're going to mention. Then I don't know you very well. So, and I think I know what you're going to mention.
All right. Braves got a new manager. It's Walt Weiss. Braves doing Braves things, hiring inside the organization. But they did steal 2 coaches from the Mets. Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, and then they stole Antoine Richardson, who's the best first base coach in the MLB. He's a really good base kind of running coach, a really good fielding coach specifically for outfield. That's the whole joke with the Matt Olson getting a 30-30 season. Juan Soto stole a career high 38 bases. He led the National League in stolen bases, Bill. Fun fact.
He did.
Juan Soto's previous career high for stolen bases was 12. So Antoine Richardson's one of the best at it, coaching players. So my honorable mention is going to be I'm excited as a Braves fan. They're going to be stealing a ton of bases. I love stolen bases in baseball. I wish we could clone Ricky Henderson and put him on every team because it would make baseball fun.
So what? Because I got mixed messages. Jackson, from Braves fans. I got one Braves fan who said that they were incredibly disappointed with the Walt Weiss signing, and because it's more of the Brian Snitker years. I got one Braves fan that just absolutely loved it, and one Braves fan who really didn't care. Was just like, whatever. The fact that you stole some bench coaches, a pitching coach and a bench coach from the Mets, I know how Mets fans are feeling about that because they've sounded off me a little bit.
I mean, to put it in perspective for people who aren't absolute stats nerds like me, Jeremy Hefner built the pitching lab for the New York Mets. He's a really analytics-based pitching coach. I think that's going to go really well with Walt Weiss. I think modern baseball coaching needs to be, you got to have at the helm the gut guy, the manager who follows his gut. But he also needs the guys who are going to have the analytics and the know-how to be like, coach, your gut's wrong right now. And help the manager make good decisions. Every good organization has it, so I think it's going to be interesting moving forward. I think this is a nice hire. There are a couple other hires today. Most notably, Chris. Was it Chris? No. Oh, I was joking. Craig Stammen. Why was I calling him Chris? Craig Stammen for the Padres, I think, is another really fun one. Craig Stammen was a really solid reliever for a lot of years. I think relievers and catchers make the best managers because they understand the game. They sit down and they do the most prep work.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I like that signing for the Padres as well. So I guess my honorable mention, you could put it down as managerial hires. Looking pretty good so far.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see. Everybody that's not giving Walt Weiss a chance because he managed Colorado, or he was Snick's right hand guy. Relax. When Joe Torre went to the Yankees, there was a big article written about Joe Torre that called him Clueless Joe, because he hadn't had a lot of success as a manager. And look what he did in a Yankee pinstripes. He ended up in the Hall of Fame. He gets you a World Series in 96, 98, 99, 2000. I mean, back in 2001. I mean, the dude is amazing. So,
I think it's really underestimated the vibes that you need from your manager to push your team on. I'll use the Dodgers as an example. Dave Roberts is really good at keeping his team together. He has the bonus of speaking Japanese, and they get all these Japanese guys. It only helps. Dave Roberts has made some questionable decisions in the playoffs over the years, but he is a good manager because he's able to get the most out of his team when he needs it.
Yeah.
Just look at Game 7 of the World Series. That whatever he did worked.
Yeah, 100%.
It was his night.
So my honorable mention is all 52 players for both the Dodgers and the Toronto Blue Jays. You guys gave, if you are a Dodger fan, if you are a Toronto Blue Jays fan, it was like cardiac arrest almost every night. You're calling your cardiologist and saying, "Can I get some more pills, please?" If you are not a Dodger fan or not a Blue Jay fan, that is probably an instant classic World Series. It was one of the best that, at least Jackson, that's what I'm being told by people. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's what I've been being told.
Yeah,
by people.
I was going to say, they get extra innings 3 times?
Yeah.
So, they played like an extra game and a half, almost 2 games.
Yeah, exactly.
They threw it back. They were like, World Series is best of 9, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, everybody, just again, real quick, before Jackson tells you something very, very important. Couple things. Every Thursday night, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time, we will be back here live. Jackson and I will be back live. We'll be on Facebook Live. We will be on YouTube Live. We will also be on X Live. Make sure that you're following the Top Fan Rivalry accounts, all those places. Make sure you're following Jackson. Also following us on Instagram. Make sure that you're following us or following Jackson on Instagram, everywhere where he's got social media as Top Fan Rivalry Stats Guy. And also, we want to make, again, we mentioned this a few minutes ago, but we want to thank our sponsors. So first and foremost, being the holiday season, we definitely want to thank one of our sponsors, Todd over at the Art Center Gallery. He's got a place in the Mission Viejo Mall and the Mission Mall, and he's got a place in Laguna Beach right there on PCH. I've been to both of them. They're absolutely amazing. If you are an art fan, go check out his website. If you are in Mission Mall, if you're in Laguna Beach, he'll ship anywhere in the country. But if you're local and you go and just tell him that Jackson and I sent him, he'll get a kick out of it. Just walk in and say, "Hey, I'm in here because I listened to the Top Fan Rivalry show, the weekly review, and Jackson and Bill told me to come in." But check him out on the website. He's got some phenomenal things. He's got a gal in there that does art live right there. That is just absolutely awesome. So make sure you say hi to Todd, especially in the holiday season. And then if you're going to be in Laguna Beach, stop and get yourself a shake, a burger, whatever. Go in and see Ned over at Ruby's Diner. Jackson knows Ned just a little bit. If go in and if Ned's giving you a hard time, ask for his boss. His boss's name is Rachel. Walk in and say, "Hey, listen, Ned's giving me a hard time. Let's talk to Rachel." So that being said, we want to thank our corporate sponsors all the time. Jackson, we are going to have some stuff coming out for Black Friday, but we don't want people to pay full price for things.
Never.
Reverie.com. They go into the team store and they want to get something. How do they avoid paying full price?
Use code Jackson, all caps. Get 10% off. Snag yourself some sweet merch. It's practically stealing a base, like Matt Olson's going to do 30 times next season. Use code Jackson. Get 30 times. Use code Jackson. Get 10% off. Get a nice hoodie. It's cold. Let me tell you, Bill, in Pennsylvania tonight, it's dropping in the 30s tonight. Get yourself a nice warm hoodie. Enjoy the fall and dread the winter with your new hoodie.
Yeah, we are actually looking at possibly getting some new hoodies. We got the collegiate one. In fact, we've got some ladies in Top Fan Rivalry that are trying to recreate a shirt for us that talks about ladies and them speaking their minds. It's cold night. You need to wrap up. Life's good. Get one of those, but don't pay full price. Just like Jackson said, use the code Jackson, all caps, and you're going to get 10% off from there.
Yeah.
Don't forget to join the Top Fan Rivalry Clubhouse. It is free. We are going to have articles up there. We'll have different clips. We may even put a couple of clips we filmed in Todd's Art Center gallery. We may put a couple of those clips right there on in the clubhouse there with some of the guys that were there. Moses was there. I think Jen Kennedy was there. I was obviously there. And I think Dan over at Bruheim was there. So, yeah. So, Jackson, we're going to do this again next week, right?
Yes, we are.
All right. Everybody enjoy your
It's live. You get unfiltered Jackson and Bill when it's live.
Exactly. You don't have to wait for it to come out on YouTube. Now you get to see it live. So, we appreciate everybody. We will be back here for another half hour, 45-minute, hour, whatever it takes, show next week. Jackson, stick around for a second, and we appreciate everybody being on and look forward to having you on soon. Have a good night, all.
You too.